Meeting might go long, you just introduction. Playing around before we got here. I was. It looked impressed.
That's what we feel by the Haiti person.
Concerning about
City of Haiti.
such a man. Didn't go, you know, a little less.
Yep, I got 5.
Yeah. Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. Thank you all for being here tonight. This is the advisory board, airport advisory board meeting. So I'll call a meeting to order and a roll call of the airport board.
Mark Beer.
Al Birch.
Joan Genter.
Aaron Salzer.
Okay, so stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, so let's do introduction of visitors. Greg, we'll start with you.
Great.
Nice to be here.
J.R. Norvell with Ardura. Jasmine Patterson. Anthony. This is it. That's 40 hours. Scott Miller Flattery. Andrew Blue.
Celia Jones.
Where are all you from?
Coeur d'Alene High School.
Oh, welcome. Okay.
Hi.
Tom Grizard. Brett Boyer.
Christian Island, Coeur d'Alene Aviation Maintenance.
Kurt Bauer, Coeur d'Alene Aviation.
Greg Chico, Lieutenant.
Linda Lee, Airport.
Buck Bender.
Rachel Schwam, Aviation Museum. Kim Stevenson Airport.
Stephen Kierkegaard Airport.
Who do we have online?
We have Alan Miller, Cynthia, Harry, Joe Rossetti, JW, Robert, and Steve Anderson.
Thanks. Is there any conflict of interest regarding the agenda?
None.
None. Okay. Any changes to the agenda? No, hearing none, we'll move forward. Approval of the minutes of the previous meeting. Do I hear a motion for that approval?
I move that we accept the minutes as written.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carries. Okay, so on the agenda, we have an action item for electing a chairman and a vice chairman. And I want to open it up to discussion with our advisory board here. The Board of County Commissioners have not yet filled the 2 vacancies that were coming up that we have available. One of them is a member at large and the other one is from the city of Hayden. So I'd like to hear your thoughts about whether we move forward and elect a chairperson tonight and a vice chair, or whether we table that, or whether we just do the chairperson and hold off on the vice chair. So what are your thoughts?
My thought would be, let's start with a chairperson and hold off on the vice chair. Thereby, if they bring somebody else in from the outside of the work, they have an opportunity to sit as well with this existing board.
Sounds reasonable.
I agree.
You agree? So we want to move forward and, okay, so do I hear nominations for the chairperson?
I'd nominate Mark Beer.
Okay, I was gonna also put Mark's name forward. Anybody else?
Nominate Aaron.
You nominate Aaron, okay? So we have two people. So
So it depends, if you're seconding the Mark Veer, you can put that to a vote. If there's a second for Aaron, you can put that to a vote, otherwise that motion would fail. Depends on,
okay, so since we have two folks then supporting Mark Veer's nomination. Do I hear a second for Mark's, I guess, the two of us?
Correct.
Right.
Either a first or a second.
No brainer. Okay, and so do I hear a second for the nomination of Aaron? No? Okay, so it sounds like Mark Veer is the person we're putting forward, and so we need to vote on that. And if I could have a show of hands, that would probably be preferable.
Is there a conflict if I vote for myself?
no.
But we only need three people because of our composition right now. So all in favor of Mark becoming chair, raise your hand.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? No. Okay, so that carries, and Mark,
Congratulations.
congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do you want to move to the center so you can be seen on?
No, we'll just, well, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll bring it cheerfully. And I'll let me know if I hit you.
So as a clarification, for clarification, I would recommend that the board votes to table.
The vice chair.
Right.
Yes,
That's,
I was gonna
So just as a clarification.
yes. So,
so do we have a motion to table electing a vice chair?
I'd make that motion to table the vice chairman till further date as we understand who the next bodies of the board are.
okay, I second that motion.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, we will take a vote to table. All those in
Vote
favor?
Table.
Okay.
Okay. Done.
Who's next one?
Mhm. So next item on the agenda is business minimum standards update. Stephen, can you help us out?
Yep, so as we talked about, we had a couple items that were submitted and we found an item to do some minimum standards. We also sent out a minimum standards update request. This is an example that was sent out to everyone in our emailing list on our tenants. That went out about 2 months ago.
Okay.
We received no responses and no requests for changes during that 2 months. So we received nothing from the outside parties or outside interested comments. What was submitted was the airport's comments, and this is just basically the only two items were the subtenant addition, so that basically addressing, you know, you don't really need a sublease agreement for hangar users, things like that. And then also adding a limited FBO user so that we can help facilitate additional 100 low lead sales onto the field. Those are the only things. And I'm not expecting approval to you tonight. If you have any additional questions, we can do that in the discussion item next month. So that's it.
Can I just ask one question?
Yep.
Regarding that? When I was reading through it, as I understand, basically we put
We have a whole section for it.
yeah, for the limited, but the limited also covers the requirements for the general, for a regular FBO.
So basically, the idea is that if you meet the limited, it's just below the.
Right, and then you exceed up to the.
If you want to do, basically, if you want to do jet, you have to meet the full FBO.
Right.
If you want to do limit, just piston, you have to do the limited.
Okay, okay.
And I think I might have, I need to change one item with it. I did the ramp space too big. I think I might have fat fingered it and made it too big on the ramp space. So that needs to come down. I have it, I think it's 75,000. It actually needs to be 50,000. I
A
think
lot of ramp space.
It's a lot of ramp
That's not,
space.
that's not on Ranch.
So it just needs to come down. I think that was something I noticed when I was rereading it the other day. But it's something I noticed after we sent it out, but I wanted to make the board aware of that.
Okay.
So there may be one or two changes from then to now that you'll see again. But we wanted to make sure everybody, you know, what we discussed today, but what changes are.
And we've sent this copy out again to all the.
Everybody is in this kind of part of our board packets.
Anything else on minimum standards update? Nope, okay. With that, we'll go to staff reports.
Moving to staff reports, we'll start, we'll mention that tomorrow and Stancraft. This is not something hosted by us, it's hosted by Stancraft and Avports. They're hosting a commercial terminal discussion forum. And that is gonna be over at Stancraft's building from 4 to 6. Once again, that's not hosted by us. I can't speak to what's going to happen there because once again, it's not us. But it's something that's news on the field, so we discussed that.
Okay.
Additionally, Tax Lake D North, we just received closeout, we're hopefully moving forward with closeout here soon. Electrical, we actually just received parts for it, so we should see new beacon and things going up here shortly. SRE, we're in pause right now, because winter time has slowed us down. Gulfstream Road, we just received closeout report, so that's gonna be wrapped up and taken off this report here soon. Infinite Apron, we're on pause and we assume we were moving off. Same SRE we talked about. 624 will actually be going out to bid at the end of, or the beginning part of next month.
Okay,
That project is nearly a $5 million project right now. So it is a 624 project. It's a mill and inlay, Bravo 4 connector, new lighting for 624. It's a major project that will be going on.
Did the downtimes on any of that for operations change or?
It did.
still Trying.
We're trying to limit as much as we can, but as we started adding hours and things like that. Unfortunately, it looks like we're gonna have to extend the closures for a little bit longer. It'll be, I believe,
14 days.
14 days now.
But still trying to do nighttime work and things, or
We're trying to-
just gone.
Trying to get, it's gonna be gone. 624 will be down for 14 days
During the busy season.
No,
at the
I'm
end.
not interrupting this. Would it be beneficial if Stephen pointed out where 64 was, benefit of our gas storage there? You don't even know what we're talking about.
624,
That's the runway.
That's the big runway.
624 is our primary large runway. It's right there. The mark is pointing out.
that would be 6 and 2/4 that way,
Yes.
just.
So we are very close to finishing that work and it should be out to bid very soon. We are, however, even with it being bid and bids opening, right now we're scheduled doing bid openings February 28th. That's with us being what's called tier 1 discretionary. It's still will not get a grant until June. So that's just FAA is very slow on their process.
Right.
We also have Taxiway November, a renaming and which is a maintenance project, which is a crack seal or a seal coat project that we're also going to be using bipartisan infrastructure money. But because it's leftover money after our snow removal building project. That will be a seal coat basically over the top of the existing asphalt. We're going to do that in concurrence with closures of 624. We'll also be doing a seal coat on the apron that we own as part of Stancraft because we own it. So it's gonna be a big project as well. And it's be at the same time 624 is closed. It's a very complicated project because we're doing it around the 624 project, so. Other on-call projects, we've got the FAA tower project still going on. It is a very interesting how much data we're collecting on that and how busy we actually are. So. We still plan on doing some stakeholder meetings here in the next couple of months. So we should be up with that pretty quickly. For staff wise, we're still fully staffed. It's been a very interesting winter with us getting about 40 inches of snow in December. It was a very challenging winter we've had freezing rain, we've had heavy snow, we've had light snow, we've had blizzard conditions, we've had multiple equipment failures throughout it too. So it's been a fun winter so far as well. So that's about it for staff.
And we're not done with the winter
We
yet.
aren't done yet, no.
It's okay. Some of us like winter.
The snow removal pile's been working the way that they're. As it was said in the meetings.
Yes,
People are complying and we're doing okay with.
we still have wingtip clearance issues that we have to deal with on a regular basis, but we're still having to go clean up and things like that, but it's working. The issue was when we had 2 to 5 inches of snow every other day.
Right.
It was very challenging for everybody.
That's unusual.
Closures have been minimal, so you'd be commended on that.
Yep.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Anything else? Nope. Airport Association, anybody want to speak to that? No? We'll take that as a no. Silence is no. In that case, we go to public comment. Do we have people signed up for public comment?
No, I don't think so.
No.
I didn't make a sign sheet. Oh,
No.
okay, that nobody ever. That's. Yeah.
Thank you.
Would anybody like to make comment? Any of our students? No? Okay. Now, we actually have 2 runways.
Really?
Yes. Well, okay, 4. 4, but it's 624. And then so that's technically 2 runways. 6 going that way and 2 going that way.
Depends on which direction you're. Yes.
Which depends on the wind and et cetera. And then we have 02 and 20, which is shorter than.
But they used to be called 1 and 19.
Yeah.
Hours.
Yeah. And they didn't even move.
No, they didn't.
If you'd like to learn more, you can see us and we'll show you all.
Actually, it is actually very. How do we number the, okay, the reason, and we're gonna pick on 1 runway. Or is it 2 runways at one time? We will take 02 and 20, because they're the same number, only not. 02 or 2 goes magnetically, roughly 02 degrees. That way. So towards the north. And 20 goes 200 degrees, so this is really 20 degrees 200 degrees.
I guess so.
And you know you're lined up. That's how it works.
Magnetically speaking. It's, I would like to point out that I haven't taught that class since like the late 80s.
Or below over Martin.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, dear.
Now, would we want to talk about how we name taxiways? No,
No idea.
because that's really confusing right now.
Yeah.
All right, because that's.
It's not on the agenda. It's
No,
after the adjourn.
no, no. So any other public comments?
I'm good. I just find it out there's no. Very excited to come to a talking about numbers and for alpha and delta. What are you talking about?
So I'm going to ask a question. Why did you guys decide to come here?
We have a government. Yeah, that's what.
You have a government project.
Still waiting till the last minute. Yeah.
Okay. So things haven't changed since I was in high school. Waiting to the last minute. Okay,
This is the future.
this is the future.
Very good.
Okay.
Well, I think so. I mean, you guys are interested. I didn't go to any government stuff when I was in high school. Because they didn't have governments, you know, Greg will attest to that. There was no government way back when. All right, chariots.
Mark, I'll mention, these guys are getting off easy because we had 5 students for lane of our city meeting last night that went almost 5 hours.
All right. So, in order to make it only fair, we're gonna have to extend the meeting another. 4.5 hours. So, okay, so how did you choose the airport as opposed to Hayden?
Well, no, we all wrote them all down. So like on my phone, I have the whole list of agendas of other meetings that I'll be at this week.
Okay,
So this one was on my agenda, so. You guys are at this? Yep.
Okay.
The only meeting that I have today.
the only meeting? Okay, that's cool. All right,
Made it short and quick for you.
all right. We really wanted to try and extend it to make it longer. You need 8 hours?
Yeah. Follow up with the deal.
I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna hand the minimum standards to you guys. And we want to report on what you think of the minimum standards.
You got it.
You figure that out, you can tell.
They're not the maximum standards. Yeah, they're the opposite of the maximum standards. Well, no, we won't give you that sort of homework. That wouldn't be nice. All right, so other than trying to figure out a way to delay it so that they can get their 8 hours or 7 hours, depending on who you are. Travel. And if you stay afterwards and you talk to like the various, you know, do you have to write a report about that?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. So it's a good thing I didn't do any joke.
I would encourage the people here from the high school to really look at a career education.
Yes.
Possibly,
Yes.
an airline pilot. You know, right here, right after we started. Because it's a big need and, guys like me, was your. Yeah, so just think about that as an opportunity.
And since he's going for the opportunity for the other way to get an airline pilot is to go into the Air Force like I was in the Air Force. And I was a navigator, so I told pilots where to go. And that wasn't a joke. But the Air Force is another way. You could go to some of the other services too, but the Air Force is much better for that sort of stuff. She was in the Air Force also.
You guys wanna speak on your experiences? Do you guys wanna influence? Yeah. Yes. Let's do this.
You go to the airline, you have beautiful hair and. When you're a Legion pilot. And if you don't, you just run an entire business.
And then you lose your hair.
But yeah, piggybacking on what he said, if you do want to become pilots, now is the time. In fact, we have plenty of the younger generation, if you will, late teens, early twenties that are doing flight training with us. In fact, I work at Delta Airlines right now, and I'm flying with some pilots that are, mid-20s, and they're already at major airlines, so. We just have a ton of retirements, a lot of the older guys are on their way out, and so you see a lot of influx of
Season.
a lot of pilots. Seasoned pilots. But yeah, it definitely is a good time, and if any of you ladies or guys are interested, come chat with us, we're happy to fill you in.
We just bought 2 brand new airplanes, they're all touchscreen, it's like playing a video game, literally like really.
Okay, now the next thing to say is, can we do the tour?
Yeah, yeah.
They would be more than, honestly, they would be more than happy.
We love field
Yeah.
trips. And well, we do field trips for elementary and junior high, and I really like to have high school people in this.
Yeah.
And you go to field trip in Hawaii, you go to Delaware, mine,
I feel like we could come.
Our next meeting, I don't have my phone here, is the second Wednesday of February, which would happen to be, you've got your phone. See who gets that.
15th.
That would be no, that would be the 8th. The 8th of February.
Yeah. When it's in the calendar, they don't have to go to college.
No.
Because it was when college, you get a college, you're gonna, a lot of them don't be more than $2 an hour, when you get out, you don't have to have a college, you don't have to.
Finding bonuses.
Yeah, it used to be, in order to be competitive to get a job, it was mandatory to have a 4-year college degree. They waived that requirement because they're at such a shortage now.
Now we'll take anybody.
Yeah.
And if,
The college education is great, don't let it down, but it's not a requirement to get an airline job as we sit right now.
and also, if you're being a pilot doesn't interest you and you're very mechanically inclined, big need for mechanics,
Can't be.
Yes.
aircraft mechanics.
What's the
And-
example of pay for an aircraft mechanic?
Example of pay.
Yeah, example, what's the?
Example.
Example.
A range or?
For,
About half what you get it, so
Yeah.
Uh, 50 to 100,000 a year. So it's a big range based on experience. So somebody fresh out of school, right at the 50 area.
Now, if you're a pilot, you'd be,
Oh, right now, if you're going in at the regional level, you're making 6 figures right off the bat. And that's unheard of. For example, I started in the career in 2006. And it was the highest paying regional, was 28,000 a year. And now they're making upwards of 100 grand your first year at a regional.
With signing bonuses.
With bonuses.
Yeah.
galore.
plus bonuses. Oh, she's got big eyes. She's like, yeah, I'm thinking about flying, okay.
Yeah, so the cost for, if you go for this group here, with 0 flight time, I assume. To get all your ratings and to be able to be marketable for the airlines, I mean, you're looking at an investment of probably what? Well, it depends on where you go, but
We can take someone from 0 all the way through to CFI, certified flight instructor, for 70,000. So,
and that's on the lower end. If you tie that in with a collegiate program, you're pushing at least probably 150 to even closer to 200 plus. But keep in mind, those schools are flying, you know, brand new stuff, you're getting a full 4-year education. Out of that. Well, yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, the upfront investment is a lot, but right now the return is so much better than it used to be, which is great. I love it. I'm happy to finally see that.
Yeah, because a regional, back when you were talking 28,000,
Right.
it still costs huge bucks
Yeah.
to get all those. So now, I mean, if you say it's 150, 200,000. You get right on 100,000 plus bonuses, you're only talking 2 years and you don't have to eat anything for 2 years. And you've got it paid off. But in all seriousness, yeah, that's,
we have a flight instructor that just got his hours with us and left, in his first regional job, he's at $102 an hour is his pay rate. $202.
He just stopped by today to tell us all about it. Yes, that's right. How he bought a car, he's looking at a house. Okay, yeah.
In his off time, he has coffee in a coffee shop underneath a modeling agency in New York.
Oh, live up there.
Oh, geez.
It's quite nice.
But he had impeccable timing. I mean, this kid really did, just because this airline had just signed a new contract. Just as he had been hired, like this airline had set the bar for all the regionals. And so I just laugh. I tell him, you're the luckiest kid I've met.
And he probably went through a really great program.
Yeah.
All right. Other questions?
Yeah, when on the sign-in sheet, why do you have to put your business? Or like. But.
Yeah, just so that we have an idea what your affiliation is. Like you're affiliated as a student. If somebody was just a citizen at large, not necessarily a tenant or anything on, they put that so we understood, what the demographics are.
So student wouldn't hold any weight, you don't think?
Oh, yeah, no, students hold a lot of weight. Because you are the future.
I guess. So.
4.5 more hours left to work.
You cannot leave. Anything else? All right.
A question for that. So does a collegiate degree, does it higher your chances on getting to like a bigger company like United or Delta instead of
The answer is yes, absolutely. Just because it's not a requirement doesn't mean it's not gonna put you higher in the stack, right? And keep in mind, eventually this is gonna slow down, right? Where the market's gonna change and now the requirements change. So I don't think that it's just gonna stay stagnant right now, like, oh yeah, I don't have to have a college degree, why would I want that? But also keep in mind, if for some reason something could happen to your flying career, specifically medically, when you become a pilot, you have to go through a medical examination. And a lot of times people will have something come up, they could be super healthy, never thought about it, but something pops up now, what do I fall back on, right? And so I always recommend getting the degree just because, yeah, you have something else that you can fall back on, plus it does set you apart. And I think that is wise, because you don't know what's gonna happen.
Well, time for me to say something. I think the future for aviation is quite bright. mainly because they're coming up with electric airplanes now. And if you look at YouTube, you'll see a dozen or so airplanes from various countries, not just the US, that are making a commuter kind of airline system. And I predict that that'll probably happen in your lifetime, not mine. But I think that the future for aviation is really great. Little airports like this one will become a commuter kind of airline. If you want to go to Burbank tomorrow, you can just come here, park for free, get in the airplane and go, and they can shoot you back either way. So, or if you want to go to Kalispell, you want, wherever you want to go, you won't have to drive very far. If you live around here, you just drive over to the airport and take off. And these electric airplanes now will go for 2 to 4 hours on a charge. And so they would put a charger at each end, and then while you're getting your luggage and stuff, they're charging the plane up to go back. So I think that that's going to be, after I'm long gone, that's what's going to be around here. And we'll eventually have a tower here. We don't have a tower at this airport. And we're starting to make motion towards a tower, and maybe even a terminal building with parking, which will be a nice addition. So I think it as a future, it's great. I agree with what you said there about getting your feet wet in some way. And that will be a good start. You got to get focused. You can't go running around doing dates and stuff when you're supposed to be studying.
I'd like to make a comment too, like for anyone, like you just want to see what it's like. Like these guys, flight school I go to, I'm getting my license for helicopters. A lot of flight schools just offer a introductory flight. I'm not sure what your guys' rate is, but it's like $150 for the helicopters and take you up for half hour to an hour, get a little taste of flying and see what it's like before you take a full dive.
And I'd also suggest that you think about the Navy Air as well as the Air Force. Navy needs it better.
Okay, just remember, with the Navy, you've got this postage stamp that's floating in the middle of the ocean.
And you gotta land on it.
Yeah, whereas the Air Force, it's solid ground, and afterwards, you're going to a nice fixed place and you're not sitting underneath the catapult when they launch the next aircraft. Just saying.
But not all the Navy is on the water.
It's already, yeah.
Are
All
you
right.
former Navy?
So
I'm former Navy, yeah.
Oh, that's
I spent a year in Vietnam at the only land-based Navy hospital in the country. So.
So we've answered all your questions. All right. One last time around for public comment. No public comment, okay. Do I have a motion for adjourn?
I'd make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Done.
Finish.
Right.